Hey everybody, Nick here. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I want to talk about many different things that we waste our time on, our very, very precious time. And if you ask somebody, in fact, what they would love to have more of, most people will respond by saying they'd love to have time back. They would love to have more time to do this or that or the other. And unfortunately, we can't get our years, days, hours, minutes back. Nothing. Once it passes, it's gone. Once we lose those years of our lives, it's all but history. Now let's talk about a few things that I, in fact, am guilty of myself sometimes, wasting time on. Some not, but I'll talk about the things that I do in the list that I made up, that I kind of made a little list and just to see some. I'm sure there's many other things that people waste their time on, and I could probably get to that at the end of the video after these that I have on the list. Now, this is in no particular order. You can put the order in yourself because everyone is different. Everyone wastes time in a different way. Of course, some people will not agree on some of these, if maybe not all of them, but because they'll say basically, well, I don't believe that's wasting time, and that's fine, no problem. But I believe that most of these, it's quite a bit of wasting time. Number one, watching too much television or videos, movies, whatever, media. It's something that I think a lot of us kind of got used to as we were growing up, at least in my household, where we'd sit down and watch TV, the boob tube, maybe on a weeknight after finishing homework. Weekend, there would be more watching of TV, especially in the 90s and the early 2000s. And it would just be some sort of ritual. We'd have dinner at the TV sometimes, maybe watch a movie. And I'm just thinking of how much time I wasted watching shit. It's unbelievable what I could have been doing. Instead of watching stuff, I could have read a book or maybe concentrated on more of a project. But I don't think I had much motivation in my teens and early 20s. I really didn't. I think that my growing up phase came mid to late 20s, I would say, where I started being more interested in intelligent things, more like reading and also thinking about projects that I want to do, getting outdoors more. I didn't really escape watch. I don't watch any TV practically now at all. I do watch quite a bit of YouTube, so there's my problem, and the odd movie, but I don't watch any TV at all. I don't listen, obviously, to the radio. I mean, who does? So that's not really my issue. Another thing that a lot of people waste their time on, or some of these you'll notice that it's kind of like taking away time to do something else. So in a way, in effect, it is wasting time. Answering your phone or your messages, like on WhatsApp or whatever, while you're in the middle of something, rather than finishing whatever it was you had to finish, something of importance. Now, I'm not saying never answer your calls or your messages, especially if it's something of an emergency or you're waiting for a call back or something. Of course not. But if you're in the middle of something and you really don't need to talk to that person, I mean, for me personally, I wouldn't answer. Being addicted to social media is another one. And that's probably a really, really big one in today's society. So many are glued to their smartphone, glued to their Instagram, to their Facebook. It's unbelievable how many people are just so stuck on it. Some solutions that I was thinking of is you could set your apps and things like that to sort of not allow you to enter it at a certain time, or you can put your phone away. I mean, these are obvious solutions, but how easy it is to execute. Most people are addicted to the dopamine hits of the scrolling and all that stuff. So that's a big time waster, big one. And I'm sometimes guilty of it. I don't use really Facebook, Instagram the odd time, but it's usually YouTube for me. having no idea where your time goes online, which is, it could be social media, but it could also be just going from site to site. YouTube is one of them, I would say. I think there's a resource I was meaning to mention. I think it's called Rescue Time, and it can give you sort of and this is not I'm not like promoting this or making any money from it, but I think that from what I was reading about it, it kind of organizes and shows you where you're wasting time online. I mean, it might be a good one. There's probably others that you could use that can sort of track your time, where it's going. I know that like on an iPhone, you can sort of see where you're spending your time. I think Instagram has one as well. Procrastinating, which I am really bad at. I mean, and it's not for lack of motivation. For me, it's not the motivation. I think it's just I get sort of stuck with something else, and I get preoccupied with some other task, which goes back to whatchamacallit, not knowing where your time goes online for me. But procrastinating, I don't know. I'm better at it these days, but I used to be really bad at procrastinating, where I would just leave something to the last minute, or I was really bad at this in college, where I had like a project to finish or whatever, and I would just be pushing it back. And I think it's just also the fact that you know that it's going to be grueling sometimes, depending on the task. And I think that's where procrastinating comes from, at least for me. For me, it is. Other suggestions is deleting social media apps from your phone, limit access through the day. It says check once or twice a day, but I don't think that's going to help. I think you just end up scrolling more. So another thing is a lot of people do not have a schedule in place. So being more organized, which means kind of figuring out, okay, between this time, I don't mean like micromanaging your days and all that stuff, but just sort of having an idea of what you're going to do that day, or what you have to get done that particular, between let's say 1 and 4 p.m. or whatever it may be, just to sort of make a schedule of something of where you can use your energy, so you don't use all your energy on the crap that you didn't need to do earlier in the day and then never get to the other things because you're just too burnt out. I just think scheduling is a great tool. It's not for everybody, but I think it doesn't take much to sort of figure it out, especially if you already have a fixed schedule. Like if you're a 9-to-5 jobber and things like that, it helps even more because you don't have all day and all weekend to do the things that you have to do because you're working during the week. So it'd be nice to sort of organize, okay, I got to get that done on this day and whatever, right? I think that would be a really, really good way to organize your time. Spending time with toxic people. Now, I think we've all wasted so much time on people that we know that are toxic. Sometimes it takes you a while to figure out who that person is, or that this person really is indeed toxic, even though they've been maybe possibly a good friend for a long time, or a family member, or even in a relationship. And you realize sometimes after a long time that, damn, I wasted so much time on this person, and they ain't gonna change. They are making me feel so exhausted when I have to either argue with them, dispute over things, have to keep an eye on them. Maybe they're problematic and you care for them, so you feel like you're kind of responsible, whatever it may be. I think it's gonna inevitably take away from your happiness. It's going to take away your time, which you've probably lost already. I mean, I've lost time, but I think your happiness is also at stake when it comes to spending time with toxic people. You're losing time and being unhappy at the same time. What a bad combination. There are a lot of people who are passive aggressive. For me, it's a personal pet peeve. I really can't stand that people are this way. Usually means we have something that is weighing on our mind, but we don't typically just come out and say it. And those are the people that I just don't want to be bothered dealing with anymore. And there's many, many in Canada, by the way, my home country, my country of birth. It's just come out and say with it. Say it, whatever it is you have to say. For me, I'm never going to beat around the bush. I'm going to be straight up. If the person doesn't like it and I'm being honest, not hurtful, too bad. But I'm not going to even go that way. I don't like passive aggressive people, and I sure as hell would not practice that, which I do not like. So that's really, really bad. And there's a lot of people like that these days. Another one is not being fully present. So this means could be like, without sounding new agey or anything like that, but it could be present in any given moment. Not only allows us to work more efficiently, but also helps to enjoy life more. Because I think if you're not concentrated, I think that's, being in the moment of where you have to get this, whatever it is you have to get done. And you're not going to be just enjoying where you are at that exact moment. You're just going to be thinking of other things, which causes anxiety as well, where you're thinking, how would I say it? Soak up every moment, even the ones where you are working on unpleasant tasks. I think you'll find yourself enjoying those unpleasant tasks more when you're fully immerse yourself in them and try to enjoy the process as best you can. You already have to do it anyways, so why not try to at least maybe find some sort of enjoyment out of it. I know that's hard, and I know it's like trying to find a drop of water out of stone, but I think it will really make the difficult moments, especially tasks that you got to get done, a little bit more pleasant, and if you're able to endure and get it done quickly and save time. Another thing that can waste a lot of time, and I've found this myself too, because I am a very, predominantly multitasking person. I am a multitasker. I have so many things that try to get done at the same time. I don't think it's a good idea all the time, especially when you're kind of exhausted and it's towards the end of the day. I get it. It's hard to focus on one thing at a time, even for myself. But it can be really hard to get much of anything done when you are bouncing around from one task, at least in my experience. And it's actually a higher probability of making a mistake. Now, I'm pretty decent at multitasking, but it also depends on what it is, right? How would I say? I could do the dishes and be listening to something at the same time that I have to study or whatever it may be. Maybe reading a book and listening to something like a music, not words. Maybe those aren't the best examples. How would I say? Responding to emails while doing other work that you're doing online. Like if I'm making a class, and I stop, take a break, go check emails, whatever, it can really be disruptful. That's for sure. So multitasking, it's not everyone's cup of tea. It's not easy. I don't recommend it. I think even myself, I try to get one task now done at a time and then move on. The next one is spending too much time caring what others think of you. I know this is going to be easier said than done, and it takes a lot of practice and really a strong mind, a strong person to not give a shit what other people are thinking, especially if you're like a content creator or if you're somebody that is out there in the ether. People are looking at your material, whatever it may be. If you've exposed yourself to the public eye, meaning you've put work out there, any piece of art, something like that is susceptible to criticism. I know that that's going to be probably the toughest. If you can get through that and not give a shit what the critics think and all the other things, the comments from maybe if you have a YouTube channel or whatever, if you can just totally, water off a duck's back that shit, you can handle anything. Like I said, caring too much what others think leaves you in a space where you're living your life for others, what others think of you other than for yourself. Care less about what others think and more about what you want. That's what I would say. And focus on yourself and not what these other people are saying. If there's positive comments, it's nice to hear. But even those you don't want to take too much to heart, even if it's positive. Take it in good stride, but I wouldn't put too much into it. You have to know yourself before other people can start throwing away. Now I get it, certain things require criticism. Constructive criticism is always welcome, for sure, in my opinion. Another one, sifting through clutter to find things you need. This is probably another one that is an organizing tip. You might find yourself looking through a bunch of stuff and you can't find it, what it is you need. You're wasting time looking. You give up, you come back, you try again in another spot. And it's just, maybe you should just get more organized. And how can you do that, you ask? You could become a minimalist by reducing the amount of things that you own. I've done that before. It's very useful. I no longer have to dig through stuff to look for whatever it is I need. I've donated many things. I no longer have clutter, essentially. The other thing you can do is, if you don't want to get rid of whatever it is you have, just organize it. Put it in places you know where everything is. So you know how to find something, whatever it may be, quickly, within like 5 minutes, 10 minutes tops. And it'll save you a lot of time. A lot of people have paper clutter, which is another thing. Maybe try to digitalize it or get rid of stuff that you don't need. Just shred it up, file it. Just be more organized. I think that will make a big difference when you're looking for stuff you need. Let's see what else we have here. Okay, what other things? Gossiping. Oh, I did a video about this a while, how things that I think that I can't stand. Gossiping is a complete waste of time. I think it's for people who don't have anything better to do. They have all this free time, when in reality they don't, especially if they have aspirations or they have a job it's all about making yourself feel better, I think, the gossiping BS. And complete waste of time. That's all I'll say about gossiping. Struggling to make decisions. This is another way of being, I guess, procrastinator, but not so much. I think I used to struggle with this, where I wasn't able to, even the smallest decision, the slightest, smallest decision would make me sort of thinking. Now, even if I'm not sure, like let's say between two flavors of ice cream, let's just use a simple example. I'll just pick one. I'll likely like both of them, so I just pick it and go with it. I don't waste time. Unless it's something that's very critical that I have to think about, the big decisions, then that takes more time. And there's nothing wrong with taking some time to think about those things, like a relationship, or if someone was to ask you to marry them. If you're not sure, that might not be a great response to say to them that I have to think about it, but you know what I mean. Just the more difficult decisions that you have to take time to think about. Just a couple more here. Not making your commute time productive. Now, if you're somebody who takes public transit and it's a long way to get to work or wherever it is that you go to on a regular basis, you could use that time to sort of do what it is you have to do. Maybe like studying, instead of listening to music or watching something on your iPad, you could be learning stuff on the the Kindle, reading books and things like that. I don't know, studying if you're still in university. Just rather than just chilling out, you could be using time to maybe even do other work, maybe writing, maybe something. But the time can be used more productively. It's not like the most important one, because sometimes people in the morning who are commuting are just too exhausted. But you could always use the time on public transit, especially if you're an hour or two away or whatever it is. I used to do that on my trip, I was about an hour and 20 minutes from my college campus, and I would study, even if I'm like tired as hell, I would just study. Even if I've studied all night or whatever, I would just use more time. Not the whole trip, but maybe like half an hour, 40 minutes. Last one that I was able to, last but not least, is that I was able to get, which is a good one, complaining. Now, typically nothing positive can come from complaining unless you need to complain to someone specific to get something fixed or whatever it may be. You've had an issue and you got to complain, okay? And it could be a hard thing to break, just the regular complaining, because a lot of people feel comforted by the complaining. Even though for me, I get stressed. I don't like complaining. I just want to be chill, okay? I think it's worth putting effort into. Complaining can often make bad situations seem even worse and are by no means a good use of your time. I think you could be using the time to just to fix whatever the problem is. How could I say? Making better use of your time is just a matter of creating a lot of little tweaks that can add up to huge change in a way to spend your days. I think if you add up all the time, especially me, of complaining, that could be days that I wasted. I don't know, over the course of my life. I don't know. But it is, unless you've really got a good reason to complain, I think it's just a waste of time. Now, some other things that I didn't put on this list that could be a waste of time could be, I don't know, being in a relationship that is not necessarily toxic, but you don't really like the person. You're not attracted to the person, but you feel like there's some sort of security there. What other waste? Video games could be a waste of time. Doing a job that you aren't making enough money and you know you could do better, waste of time. But unfortunately, the comfort zone is there. So a lot of people don't leave it, or at least they don't leave it because they're afraid of, change, or the fear that they might not be able to get another job better than what they're doing. I've been in that position, so I know. So you could be wasting your youth in that stuff, in those situations. Anyways, if you've got some things that you believe are a waste of time, put them in the comments below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I appreciate you watching, as always. And we'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye for now.